Ukraine has slammed Russian leader Vladimir Putin for ordering a massive missile strike ahead of the second day of US-led peace talks in Abu Dhabi. Ukraine's two largest cities, Kyiv and Kharkiv, were hit early this morning, leaving at least one person dead and dozens injured. Ukraine's foreign minister says Russia launched 375 drones and 21 missiles targeting energy infrastructure. The attacks left about 1.2 million properties without power nationwide, while nearly 6,000 buildings in Kyiv were left without heating as temperatures hover around negative 10 degrees Celsius. Washington described the first day of discussions in Abu Dhabi as productive. Ukraine's president hopes the talks could mark a key step toward ending the conflict. Russia called the talks useful in every respect, but said territorial issues must be resolved before any lasting agreement. Moscow is seeking control of the Donbas region, but Kyiv is reluctant to cede any of its territory. And Ross Cullen is reporting for CNN, and he joins us live from Paris. Ross, thank you for joining us. Now, how will the latest Russian attack on Ukraine affect the talks today?
Andriy Sybiha, who is the Ukrainian foreign minister, saying that Vladimir Putin does not belong at the board of peace, this so-called idea, the initiative that's been started by Donald Trump, but Vladimir Putin instead should be in front of the special tribunal. That was what Mr. Sybiha said today after those strikes on Ukraine, which come during these two-day talks. Russia not letting up its offensive during this winter. We've already seen terrible power cuts and the loss of heating, the loss of water, the loss of electricity in thousands of buildings for days on end across Ukraine. Of course, you can understand the temperatures very cold at this time of year, in darkness, with Russian attacks and missiles and drones continuing to be launched into Ukrainian territory to try to put the pressure on during these talks. We understand they all pretty much come down to just a couple of issues, but it is also the first time we have seen Ukraine and Russia and the United States in the same room at the same time to try to work on trying to bring this conflict to an end. We did hear from Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, during the week at the World Economic Forum in Davos before his one-on-one talks with Donald Trump. The Ukrainian president saying that the Venezuelan former leader, Nicolas Maduro, has been arrested and is put on trial, but Vladimir Putin is a free man and has not yet been stopped, just like Nicolas Maduro was. So Volodymyr Zelensky really wanting to continue to put that pressure on because, as you mentioned, there is this focus on the Donbas, and Ukraine doesn't want to cede any of its own territory that it currently controls.
Ross, is this latest round of talks likely to yield any concrete outcomes?
Well, territory is really what it's all about. The Ukrainian leader said that is the main focus, that a security guarantees agreement is pretty much there with the United States. An economic reconstruction package for a post-war era is pretty much done and dusted. So it's all now coming down to this focus on territory. Russia wants Ukraine to leave all of the areas of the so-called four regions that it sees as part of its territory, recognized by the United Nations as part of Ukraine. So the Kherson and Zaporizhia regions in the south, but the main focus is on the Donbas. So this is the combined regions of Luhansk and Donetsk. Russia does not control all of both regions, and it wants Ukraine to leave that area. Ukraine has said we will leave if Russia does exactly the same and moves back by, for example, an agreed 25 kilometres in each direction away from this area, leaving it as a demilitarised zone, potentially leaving it for the United States to run as a neutral area. That is something that Russia hasn't agreed to yet, but that's something that Ukraine is very clearly going to try to show the United States we're willing to make a concession. We can give up this land if Russia does not take it and if it remains as a neutral zone. That will be one of the key focus for the day 2 of the US-Ukraine-Russia talks, which are continuing in Abu Dhabi.
Well, many thanks for that update. Ross Cullen there reporting for CNN in Paris.